I'm Mark Tuschman, and I'm here at Photo Central in Hayward, California. I've basically photographed and interviewed well over 100 immigrants from all walks of life, from the undocumented to those seeking asylum, DACA recipients, those with all different levels of visas, and finally to those with full citizenship. As a photographer, I really believe in the power of images and narratives and stories. One can argue endlessly about politics to no avail, and one can easily disregard or manipulate facts, but one can't ignore or disregard a person's life story. We really are a nation of immigrants, and unless you're a native born or you came here involuntarily as a slave, you could look at your own genealogy and either you or your grandparents or further back in your ancestry, they all came to America for the same reason. It was to escape fear and persecution, to build a better life for themselves, to educate their children, and to live in freedom and democracy. And that's why people are coming now. Now we have Andrea Dryfuss, who's from Peru, and she's an ER physician at Highland Hospital.
I promise to be brief. Thank you so much, Mark, for doing all of this and inviting me, and thank you all for being in here. My story, similar to Cindy, it starts quite ordinary, but I think I've spiced it up since I decided the career path that I am currently in. So I immigrated to this country, to South Bend, Indiana, when I was 20 years old. Similar to Cindy, I got a full ride to a school, to a place that I had never been, which I knew nothing about, and spoke some English. I did have amazing opportunities growing up, going to a school that taught me how to speak English, and also having amazing supporting parents who I've now since brought here to help me raise my family that I now have. And I kind of just arrived at my young 20 years old, I encountered this country of immigrants. That's exactly how I saw it. I introduced myself, hi, my name is Andrea Dryfuss, I'm from Peru, and everybody would tell me, oh, I'm from Ireland. And they actually weren't from all these places at all. In fact, not even their parents, not even their grandparents. You know, my husband, he's Jewish American, they still talk about like their Russian great-grandparents. And so this is exactly where I'm so confused about this whole situation, because this is 100% a country of immigrants. And that's exactly the first amazing experience that I had. Everybody was embracing that and honored and proud, and that's exactly what made this country, when I first arrived, the most wonderful place of the world, because we could learn from each other. Then I decided to move to Chicago to work as a social worker, you know, straight out of college, and I was like, I want to make a difference, and I moved to this little place called Cicero, which many of you guys may not know, but Cicero is a little bit of a, Chicago area is probably one of the most segregated parts of the country that I've encountered, although I've kind of been absolutely everywhere. And it was a bunch of Latinos, which I thought, oh, everybody's gonna get along well, but that was not the case. There was a lot of gang segregation. And interesting enough, as I worked as the counselor for all of my juvie kids, foster kids, and a combination, the more and more I learned, these kids in the United States, this is not like the outside that all of these people talk about. This happens in Salvador, in Honduras, and Peru. Here, they were being forced really to join and choose a side to survive. Because it was exactly in these places where, you know, I work with law enforcement at Highland every single day, and I love some of them, but at this particular places, they were very prone to racially profiling. And if these children, at a young age of 12 or 13, did not pick a side, their house will go on fire. And I very quickly realized, like, this country is not the country that I had my little experience of 4 years of Notre Dame, little bubble campus in undergrad. and I wanted to make a bigger difference. And so I decided to go into med school, and I luckily got our scholarship to meet you guys in California at Stanford, where I did 4 years of med school and 1 year of master's in public health at Berkeley. And quickly after that, I realized I needed to leave Palo Alto. As beautiful as the place it is, it was not where the people I wanted to serve were located. And so I moved to Oakland, where I have been now for 5.5 years working at County at Highland Hospital, where I see every single day that exact same 1 year experience that I had at Cicero. And it breaks my heart because we currently live in the richest part of this country. And I have patients that arrive at age 35 with metastatic breast cancer, yes, in this country, that did not seek medical help in something that was treatable because they were worried to go to a doctor for fear for deportation. I have patients that arrive with end-stage renal disease, were never diagnosed with diabetes, because they did not have access to primary care and are worried about seeking help because of their immigration status. That should not be allowed. And that makes me, as much as I love this country, makes me be ashamed of this country that we're allowing that to happen. So I again want to thank Mark for bringing these stories through. I ship one little day at a time where I can do. I feel honored that I can serve these people. I feel honored that 50% of my day I'm speaking Spanish, and that sometimes just the fact that I can communicate with some of these families that haven't had somebody to hear them and provide maybe some, just an ear, can make a big difference. I feel lucky of all the opportunities that I've had. I feel incredibly blessed that my parents are now green card holders here, get to see their children, their children, and also their grandkids. And thank you again for listening to my story.